So what do you think about the program so far?
Well, I think it was a very, very positive and motivating, enthusiastic program. In only the few weeks that I've been here and taking also the class, I was able to see the difference in just 2 weeks, how the growth of the people that are taking the class, by their comments, by the experiences that they were sharing in class, and what an impact the book and your lectures have been in their lives.
Now, what kind of background do you come from? What do you do?
I come from a broken home, born and raised in the South Bronx. My mother had 10 children. My father was an alcoholic, and then my mother abandoned me when I was 3 years old. So I come from a very rough background. And some of my siblings turned to a lot of maybe negative things after my mother abandoned us. Like, for example, I have a brother who was an IV drug abuser. He shot up heroin from the age of 15 to he was 43 when he passed away from AIDS.
Wow, wow. So despite your adversity, you have somehow found strength to move forward and move past those challenges.
Yes, I have. I think that everyone in life has to have a rock. Some people define their rock in a different, it might be a religion, it might be another person. My rock was God. And the fact that I grew up in the Pentecostal church, in the church and through God, I found the love that I was lacking at home. So the people, the brothers and sisters from the church, they would love me. And I remember being very young, and I remember feeling God's love, and that's what kept me going.
Wow, wow. So did you feel some of that love in this program?
Oh, definitely, definitely. You know, in the beginning when I first started, I was a little bit comprehensive as to, oh my goodness, I'm going to be working with these people. I hope that they're going to like me. But, you know, then I said, well, you know, the only thing that I could do is give them my heart. And when you give people your heart, that's something that no one can ever turn away.
Absolutely.
So,
you know, there's a saying by Zig Ziglar, people don't care how much you know.
Right.
So they know how much you care.
Right.
And it's obvious that you care very much.
I do.
So for the book, Whereas Adam, you're a professional and very educated woman, have a lot of life experiences and professional experiences teaching on in the high school level, secondary level, as well as the college level.
That's right.
How do you think that this book fares in terms of what we were trying to express and convey to these awesome people in this program?
I think it's a very enlightening book in the sense that it is a good book for women to read, because then they know what type of, maybe if they were single mothers, like some of the women in the program mentioned, they had a better understanding where their children were coming from. Maybe it felt some of their anger, because even though maybe they were great single mothers, the father was still lacking in the household, that unit. So it's also good for women. It's a fabulous book for men, because especially that chapter, Man Up, that's one of my favorite chapters. You know, it's also educating men that maybe, oh my goodness, this is what I didn't do, this is what I should have done, and maybe I could do something different now, maybe for my grandchildren, because I missed out on doing this for my children. And I'm a strong believer that it's never too late to change. Like you said, you change your way of thinking, you change your action. And I think it's very important also for teachers, educators, social workers, psychologists, ministers, leaders in our community. I think it's very important also for politicians, for judges. You mentioned a few judges in your book. You had a judge come here today to honor everyone here in the class and to motivate them. That was unbelievable. That was a positive thing. I'm going to tell you why. Because a lot of the people in this class, or some of the people in this program, have gone through the jail system, and sometimes they feel that no one cares. But for a judge to come in and take out of her time, her busy schedule, to say, I'm so proud of you, you are here to make a difference, that gives them hope. I say, you know, not everybody is going to turn their backs on them. There are some people here in the community, there are leaders in the community that are going to back for us, that are going to be there for us. And for the judge to come today and show up, that was a great, great action of love and caring and empathy and passion.
Absolutely. And you're sensitive to that love, and you recognize that right away.
I recognize that right away because that's what saved me in my life. And I think that at a very young age, I grew up on welfare. My father was an alcoholic. I had absolutely nothing. I know what it is to starve. I know what it is to go home, to go to sleep crying from hunger because I had no food to eat. So the fact that I grew up like that and I saw a way out, and one of the things that I saw at a very young age was one of my ways out of that was education. I knew that education was one of the ways out. It's not all,
Yes.
because it doesn't mean that everyone has to have a college degree. It doesn't mean, but I knew that by bettering myself and educating myself that I could maybe achieve more in life. And since I was the third oldest out of my mom's 10 children, I was always the leader in my family because my brother, who was the heroin addict, was older than me. And then my older sister, she just couldn't handle it. So I was always the leader of the family and taking care of my alcoholic father and taking care of all my younger brothers and sisters. So at a very young age, God gave me the gift to reach out to people and to take care of people. And I think that's the way I live my life. I've been doing community service now for 18 years. And I think that when a person dies, the most important thing is that for people are not going to say, oh, when Jenette had this type of car, or Jenette had this type of house, or this. So I want people to say, whoa, Jenette, was there for us when we needed her. What did she impart to us? Did she impart to us love, passion, knowledge? Was she there for us when we needed her? That's what I want people to remember, and that's what I also taught my children. I'll never forget, 4 Christmases ago, I asked my daughter what she wanted for Christmas. And she said, absolutely nothing. I said, what? I was shocked. And she said, absolutely nothing. What I want you to do is I want you to take a family that has absolutely nothing, and I want you to buy them everything for Christmas in my name. That's what I want. I said, Sanaida, are you sure? Because if you do this, I'm not going to get you anything for Christmas. Right. Well, that's what she did. That's what she wanted, and that's what I did. It showed me something more, very wonderful, me as a parent and as the person that she has become, because all her life, she saw me, doing for others. And she saw how I was passionate about my Healing Hands race, which is a race that we've been doing now for 18 years. And I've been chairing that committee now for about 17 years. And it's a committee in which we raise money for the Genesee County Free Medical Clinic. Well, how ironic is life that for 17 years I've been fighting for people that don't have medical insurance. Wow. And now I don't have medical insurance. Wow. So I think, and now I'm at a point in my life where I need. Right. So, you never know that sometimes you have so much and you never know when you're going to lose it. Right. But it's very important to never forget who you are and where you came from. And that's what I'm all about.
Well, it's pretty obvious. Speaking of sometimes going out, I think God has a way of putting us in positions sometimes that kind of reminds us of that. But also you have such a giving heart that because your heart is such as it is, God has many things in store for you. He's going to make sure that you have the things that you need. So you're here at St. Luke's for what purpose?
Well, they hired me to be the director of development, and they hired me because they saw all the years of experience that I do have doing community service, because the Healing Hands is not the only community service that I do. Mm-hmm. I also do what we call Reach Out and Read. It's a federal program in which we have to promote literacy in our community. Mm-hmm. And what I do is I collect children's books. And the Medical Society Alliance gives me about $500 a year, sometimes $1,000 a year, and I order these books from Scholastics. And they're brand new books, and I take them to all the pediatricians that are servicing children at low socioeconomical levels. And when the physicians finish seeing the little patient, he or she hands them a brand new book. So that's something that I've been doing for years. And also, the Peace Race, Gandhi Peace March, I've been involved with that. And also, I've been involved with the Women's Shelter for many years at the Y. So I've been doing that for so many years, and it's just so part of my life that it will always be a part of my life, because I feel that God has blessed me with so many blessings that I have to give back from all the blessings that God has given me.
Well, the good thing about giving, especially if you have a heart for giving, God has no choice but to continue to give to you, so that you can continue to give to others. Right. It's that whole sowing and reaping process. So where is Adam understanding a father's role? I know some of the women, when they originally came in, they looked at the title and they were a little concerned, maybe perplexed as to how the book would actually connect to them. As a woman, what would you say, and how would you say this has impacted you personally?
Well, I think it's impacted me personally because and sometimes in the class I was thinking about my father and how he was not there for me. But the times that he was, you know, when he wasn't drinking, he taught me, one thing he did teach me, he taught me about hard work. Even though he was an alcoholic, he worked all his life. He worked at the Sheraton Hotel in New York, and he retired after 40 years, you know, working for them. So that's one thing. So I took the positive and the negative, but then I was also saddened as to see through the book the power of a positive role model father in the family, how important the father role model is in the family.
Right.
I did learn a lot about that when I got married, and you know, my ex-husband was an excellent father, and to this day he is an excellent father.
Wonderful.
So I saw a lot of that, you know, through him, and he too grew up with an alcoholic father and rough life. His mother committed suicide when he was very young.
Wow.
His mother committed suicide, and his father died when he was 16. So he was in foster care, and in the South Bronx, foster care. But guess what? Today he's one of the leading cardiologists in Genesee County.
Wow.
Yep, interventional cardiology. So he also came from nothing, but he worked hard, and so he also serves the community as well.
Well, in the book, in closing here, in the book, I talk about an individual named Joe. I don't know if you had an opportunity to read the chapter. Chapter 5, I believe that it is, You Ain't My Daddy is a chapter, and then the next chapter is Let Me Show You How. And at the end of that chapter, and I'll end it by saying this, is that no matter what role your father has played in your life, whether it was positive or negative, the influence that he has had in your life is very powerful, and it's long-lasting. And in the end of the chapter, I indicate that Joe had two men in his life, one who was behind bars, and one who had bars on his uniform, which was me.
That's right.
And it goes to show you how significant the voice of the father is. Even though Joe's father was in prison, he was giving him advice, and unfortunately it wasn't positive advice. It was negative advice, and it countered my positive advice, and unfortunately Joe ended up making some bad decisions that ended him in prison as well, all because of the voice of his father. So I just want to say thank you very much.
Thank you.
I wish you Godspeed. I know you're going to be very successful. God is going to supply all your needs well beyond your imagination.
Well, I think it's very important to note that also this class has given me the understanding of the souls that are in this program, which gives me much more passion and love to fight for them and to fight for the funds that we need in order to keep this wonderful program open in our community.
Awesome. And I know that will be a success as well as you acquire funding for this program and other programs, I'm sure, because God sees your heart and he's going to reward you accordingly. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
All right.